Thanks to the support as a channel member, Owen Herterich. What a difference a day can make. We're 12 games unbeaten. We've spent millions. We have a defender. We even have a new striker and a new midfielder. And I think we're going to touch wood here. I think there's a possibility we might be able to qualify for the Champions League again. Hello and welcome to part 61 of the Tour de France. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have games against Rennes and Paris Saint Germain. Since you were last with me, our form has really turned around. Getting out of the Champions League, best thing we ever did. Should have done it sooner. Should have done it years ago. Look at that run of form that we've been on. We are up to 7th in the league, just 3 points outside of the Champions League qualification spots, though, with still 12 games left to play this season. It is very much all to play for, and we've done that with Omar missing a month because he was away at the African Nations Cup as well. So that's why we needed to sign a new striker. If you remember in the last episode, I asked the board for more transfer money. They said no. 1st of July rolls round, they offered me £5 million of extra transfer money. So we have done some spending. The bank balance is still very, very healthy, but there are new players at the club. First one, Dusan Milenkovic. Or Milenkovic. You'll know I've been watching this guy for years, longing after him, wishing I could sign him. Well, now he's signed for Paris Saint Germain and is listed for loan. We were able to sign him, so he's come in on loan until the end of the season. We do have the option to spend £10 million on him in the summer. We don't have £10 million. The way I view this guy, he's our Fowry insurance policy. So if we end up having to sell Fowry for £30 million, we have a £10 million ready-made replacement already at the club. If we don't sell him for another summer, then so be it. We either try and loan this guy back again or make do without him. We didn't really need him. He was just a nice to have. We actually did that one before the new money came through. I thought that would be my only piece of business, as I did with these couple. I'm looking at these thinking maybe I've got my dates slightly wrong when they offered me the money, because I wouldn't have done these two deals if I'd have known these two deals were coming. But Ere Comet is a 33-year-old Swiss international. I think he's got French as a second nationality. No, did we sign him for? We signed him from a French club. There you go. We definitely met the rules. He's been playing in Ligue 1 for years. Got relegated with Nantes last season, playing for them in Ligue 2 this season. And he was out of contract at the end of the year. We signed him on a pre-contract, then did 115,000 to buy him now. And same situation with Ousmane Ba, Senegalese international who has French as a second nationality, centre-back or holding midfield player. Everything I just said about the other guy, this one, he was an end of contract, brought him in early, but haven't had to use him because then the money came in. So we were able to get Youssou Say, who is actually a defender that we were looking at when he was still at Montpellier, but couldn't afford him at that point. £2.7 million signing for Southampton back in the summer. Didn't really break into the Southampton team. Was on the transfer list there at his own request because he wasn't happy there. He's got 6 years of Ligue 1 regular starting experience from Montpellier. So for £4.6 million, I know it's a big fee, but he's 24 years old. He's our new centre-back. He's our new Big Willie. And very happy to have him in. And then we also celebrated by bringing in another attacker. Gilberto Benavidez is a 22-year-old Colombian under-20 international, 3.5-star current ability, 4-star potential, who has come in and started nabbing goals off the bench. He's got one in the league, one in the cup. Looks very lively, can play up front or on either wing. My thinking here was if we have to sell Millet, who's still unhappy, or we don't get Nguema back on loan again for another year, he can play out on either wing. So we needed an additional attacker. And with that kind of pace and agility, physicals is all you need in FM22. Doesn't matter that he's only got finishing of 8. This stuff means he will be a superstar attacker for us. And realistically, he's probably going to play out wide anyway, because we're not going to drop Omar to bring this guy in. But we got him in on loan until the end of the season, and he actually joins us permanently as part of that loan deal. We agreed a £3.7 million mandatory future fee for him. So we can now sell Millet if we have to. I really don't want to, because for the second year in a row, we have the European Golden Boy. What a ridiculous thing this is. Omar wins it last year. Millet wins it this year. We would obviously, on that basis, very much like to keep him, but he is unhappy at the club. He's not playing well because of it. We actually turned down a couple of loan offers for him in January. He's under contract for another 3 years. We'll only have to sell him if he really, really digs his heels in and causes problems, which he's not yet. So at the moment, I'm not rushing to sell him. We have agreed if anyone offers his asking price, we'll let him go. And I will let him go. We've got Benavidez as a replacement for him now. What I will do while I think of it is just try and offer Nguema a loan until the end of next season. Because why on earth wouldn't we just keep loaning him in when he's homegrown at club? He's one of our best players. We'll just keep loaning him until the end of his Newcastle contract. He's got 2 more years left on his Newcastle contract. This could be the greatest piece of business in the history of Football Manager. I've done some loans like this over the years to how a player come through our youth system, sell him for £10 million, get an immediate loan back, and then get him the next season and the next season and the season after. We just need 1 more season of loans. Then we can just bring him back on a free transfer at the end of his contract. And it was basically just a £10 million cash injection from Newcastle. He's probably never even been to Newcastle. He just has stayed with us all the way through, and I love it. And fingers crossed, he comes here on loan again next season. So with all of that, suddenly everything is looking much healthier than it was before. We're through to the semi-final of the French Cup again, where we face Monaco. You know we love a bit of French Cup action. In fact, I'm looking at this thinking, I'm not going to show you the Rennes game. We're going to jump forward. I'm going to show you Paris Saint Germain and the French Cup semi-final, because why wouldn't I just do that? Use your brain, past Kev. Goodness me. So we'll be back in a minute, hopefully having beaten Rennes. Well, unfortunately, we didn't beat Rennes. We drew 0-0 against them, but our long-running unbeaten run continues. There's only Monaco and Paris Saint Germain have lost fewer games than us this season. The only problem is nobody has drawn as many games as us. Bear in mind, we have one of the best strikers, well, 2 of, I guess, the best young strikers in Europe. It would be nice for us to kill off games a little bit more than we do. It's a job for next season. We are still only 5 points outside of this Champions League spots. I'm not that bothered about them. The goal is Europe of any kind. If we can get into the top 6, or, win the French Cup. Is this our 4th year in a row getting into the semi-final of this competition? Surely we're due a win in it at some point. Yeah, this is our 4th semi-final in a row. We are yet to win one, so we'll worry about that in a minute. For now, this is the team to face Paris Saint Germain, who beat us 7-1 earlier in the season. Prevost in goal, a back four of Kambedi, Say, Matsima and Frey. Thomas at the base of the midfield with Fowry and Milenkovic ahead of him. And then Millet and Nguema out wide, Omar up front. Nguema has now confirmed his loan until the end of next season, so we don't have to worry about replacing him anytime soon. The goal now just becomes convincing Millet to stay. And then we've got 5 very good forwards, and obviously Fowry able to play in that line as well. Merlin able to play up there at an absolute push. And the attack is good. It's a good young attack that would be fine for us for the next 5 or 6 seasons. We can then start building the other areas of the pitch. I really don't want to be 1-0 down after less than 2 minutes. I'm trying to pretend it didn't happen, but there's still such a gulf between us and Paris Saint Germain, and it makes me very, very sad. It's been so long since we lost a game of football. I'm a little bit worried what happens if we now lose 2 in a row, because obviously we're playing PSG now. We've got Monaco next. I don't want us to take a massive dip of confidence and not be able to recover from it in time to get us back into Europe again. But there's always the fear, especially when you've got a key player who's unhappy and could potentially become a troublemaking ringleader. It's always a risk keeping an unhappy player around, a risk that seems worth it at the moment while he's still the European golden boy, because I certainly feel like we should be able to get more money for him than the £12 million we've agreed. So I'd quite like him to cheer up so that we can take that asking price off of him and then maybe get another good 6 months out of him before he kicks off again and we eventually sell him. At least we've got some succession planning in that position now. Likewise, in midfield, no space in the starting 11 for Vaquero shows how far we've come in midfield. If we still had Big Willie, and he will still keep coming up in every episode, but if we still had him and if we had a proper left back, I think this is a very, very good team. The jury is out on if Say is the answer at the back there. He was the man who was available when we needed someone. Whether or not that means he's going to end up good enough to play for us at centre-back long-term, we shall see, because PSG just cut through us as if we don't have any defenders at all, as you've just seen again there. I mean, to be fair, it's been Musiala and Fati who've scored the 2 goals for them. They're so good, they're playing Erling Haaland out on the wing. They've still got Haaland and Vlahovic, who haven't even scored yet today. It's Wonder Kid FC at Paris Saint Germain. The idea of one day toppling them and winning Ligue 1 doesn't seem any closer now than it did when we first got promoted to the top flight a couple of years ago. I mean, we need a good few years of Champions League money and a very good golden generation of French youngsters that we can get to first before we're properly competing with this lot. But I tell you who is competing with them, Afkir Omar is at this level already. This is why we've got to get back into Europe this year, because we've got to keep him. I do worry that if we don't qualify for the Champions League, he might decide he wants to leave as well. And to be fair, his value is now in the 35 to 45 million pound range. So if he does decide to move on, I'm hopeful we could get possibly even up to like 60 million pounds for him, which would set us up for the rest of the save probably. But at the same time, if it's all the same to you, I'd rather just keep him. Milenkovic, of course, the Paris Saint Germain player, trying to get something going on the edge of their area. We're being forced back towards our own half, but we've done very well to play in Frey. It's probably not the player we wanted playing in. Forget that. Daniel Frey has only got the equaliser. It's Tour 2, PSG 2. That was some lovely football from us. Our midfield is a thing of beauty. And this was just really well worked, excellent football from everybody involved. And Guema probably could have taken it on himself, but saw that Frey was in a better position. And unlike me, didn't doubt him just because he's a right back. Went with the guy in the best position, and he went on and scored a football goal. Beautiful things. And now Millet, come on, earn your move. Grab a winner against Paris Saint Germain. If we could somehow get a result here, that would be outstanding. Fowry now playing Omar in. Omar's in again, but Donnarumma, quite good at football. That's one of my FM22 tips for you. Donnarumma, if you're looking for a goalkeeper, Donnarumma is quite good, albeit quite expensive. I don't understand how we're level in this game looking at those match stats. I don't care. We will take a mugging. We've been dealt out enough of them over the last few years. We will happily deliver one to Paris Saint Germain, especially after what they did to us earlier in the year. And now we're down to 10 men. So same old against this lot. Down to 10 men, and then they run rampant. It's every time we play them. Oh, football manager, football manager, football manager. I know. I don't know. Why is this your way to show that teams aren't as good as the teams they're playing? Why is it whenever we play against a good team or in a big match, we end up getting a red card? It is so predictable and so frustrating. At least Milenkovic can play right back as well. He made his debut for us playing at right back, so it's a fairly easy thing to fix. Although we are now, of course, playing with one less body in midfield, and it's a midfield that's already pretty scary, and Fati has messed that one up. And I'm thinking of our midfield and wondering if maybe Vaquero is a better option in there, or do we take off Nguema or Millet, who's grumpy, and just go with, in fact, we're going to put him there. We're going to put him there, and we are going to take Millet off for Vaquero, and we're going to do a little diamond, I think. It's probably more sensible in the circumstances, rather than trying to play without our holding midfielder, because Thomas is crucial. He won Revelation of the Year, whatever that is in French football, at 28 years old. I wonder if it's a player who's no one's ever heard of until he turns 28, and then he becomes a key player for a Champions League club, because that's what Thomas has won, and that's how important he is. So we kind of have to force the system into allowing him to still sit there and protect that back four, and of course get our attacks going from that position as well. But it is PSG who are in behind again. It's so weird seeing them playing Erling Haaland deep on the right-hand side. I don't really understand the logic behind it, but I'm sure they're having a lovely time with it. So who on earth am I to argue? But they are knocking the ball around very comfortably. There is Haaland. Was he offside? He feels offside to me. Either he was offside or it was the most well-timed run in the history of football. We're going to the VAR. I think this one's getting disallowed. and it is disallowed. Excellent stuff. We live to survive a few more minutes. 36 goals that man's got this season playing off the right wing, which is bonkers. Mille, are you watching? That's the kind of numbers we want from you. Right, I'm wondering, do we take off Nguema here and play someone who's actually natural in that role? Vaquero is who I'm thinking of. We play Vaquero there. And I'm going to put Milenkovic back into midfield and bring on Moussa Cisse to play left back. Kambedi can go over to right back. Swap those two back over. And in fact, let's not try and be too fancy. We're playing Paris Saint Germain. Let's drop down to positive. He can go in there as his natural ball-winning midfielder. And then we can have both of these two doing the attacking. That seems reasonable. What is it? 20 minutes to go. I'm looking at Milenkovic, who's tiring. Omar's tiring, but we're going to go with this. We're going to offer some encouragement, and we are going to hope that we can somehow hold on and keep our unbeaten run going, because that'd be super. Omar is completely isolated up front there on his own, which, I mean, he is incredibly good. See, that's why we needed Thomas in that role, to do exactly what we just saw him do there, just keeping things tidy, protect the defence. But Omar is so isolated, and I'm wondering if this was a good idea or maybe a really bad idea, because we're now not offering any support to our striker, and also we're incredibly narrow, and it's just inviting PSG to just attack us constantly, and we've not really got an outlet. So I'm wondering if we get on one of these attackers that we've got, or even two of them. Could we leave the midfield like that? Because Fowry's shattered. So I'm thinking we bring on Benavidez for Fowry and put him there. And then it's just, what do we do with Milenkovic? Who actually isn't doing too bad, although Thomas is now shattered. So we could potentially... No, we've got to leave Thomas on. I'm really thinking here. I don't like it. Where is Di Girolamo? I want him. We're going to leave it like that and hope Benavidez can just offer a little bit more support for Omar, give us a little bit more of an outlet. Oh, that's upsetting seeing it come from a set piece. We're going to go back to attacking. It was always going to be tough when we went down to 10 men. And we did say he was one of the ones who hadn't scored yet. Look at the quality of this Paris Saint Germain team. For us to keep it tight, I mean, yeah, match stats wise, it's been an absolute mess. But we only lost by the one goal. I guess is nice. There goes the unbeaten run. I think we've still got Monaco to play in the league as well, which is probably going to be another defeat and makes that Champions League push that I've got in my head trickier, for sure. Let's look at our remaining league fixtures. So we're now 8 points outside of the Champions League spots again. It all of a sudden looks a lot harder, especially when we've still got Monaco, Lyon and Marseille are our final two games. I don't think we're qualifying for the Champions League. New target, 6th place. And that's all we're focusing on, 6th place. And winning the French Cup. So let's go and play the semi-final now. Couple of changes for the Monaco game, then both forced on us. Frey, of course, is suspending, having been sent off. Milenkovic also suspended after an accumulation of yellow cards. So Cisse comes back in at left back, Kambedi going over to right back, and Vaquero is back in midfield. Otherwise, these are the same boys who just pushed Paris Saint Germain hard and almost got through with only having 10 men. And with this being our 4th semi-final in a row, please, 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 let us get through to the final this time. To be fair, it's Paris Saint Germain will be waiting for us if we get there. So the chances of us getting through, of us winning the thing, even if we get through to the final, probably not as high as you would hope. But we can dream, can't we? Especially if the league is starting to look a little bit harder than we thought it was at the start of the episode. Maybe this is our route back into Europe and keeping our young wonder kids together. Because, like I keep saying, I don't imagine they're going to stay if we're not in Europe. You never know. They might surprise us. Prevo lumps it forward. I mean, that wasn't much of a surprise. He's told not to do that. He's supposed to be distributing it to our centre-backs. He lumps it forward. Omar's, what, 5'9", 5'10". He's not going to win anything in the air. He's not a full-size human footballer. How tall is he? 5'9". He's miniature. I love the 5'9" crew. Whenever I say stuff like that, it's beautiful. Beautiful carnage in the comment section. But yeah, he needs a pair of platforms or something to be able to get on the end of these lumped forward balls that we get from our goalkeeper. Millet is injured, so that might actually work out for the best. I'm scared of dropping the European Golden Boy, but it has been a while since he's played well. Benavidez has looked good when coming off the bench, so maybe this is his opportunity to play a few games with Millet injured and show me why we've committed to spending all this money on him. It is Monaco we're getting him from as well. It reminds me a lot of the Roko Vukovic situation we had when we were down in Ligue 2, where we've taken an excellent left winger from Monaco, but had to give him back, whereas this time we're definitely keeping him. And thankfully, that goal was disallowed. Still 0-0 as we head towards half-time. Don't need to see the replay, just in case it was incorrectly disallowed. They might chalk it back on again, and nobody wants that. 0-0 at half-time. I want a moment from Benavidez to show his, still his parent club at the moment, his former club, his parent club. I want him to show them why they were wrong to let him go. There does seem to be a fear of developing young players at these top French clubs. We saw it with Lyon letting us have 2 wonder kids last year, and now Monaco have let us have one on the cheap. If any of them want to let us have a cheap defender at some point, that'd be cracking. But I don't think this one's getting disallowed, is it? Referee, why? Where is the referee? Why has he not got his finger in his ear? What are you doing over here, ref? You're not even going to look at the VAR? Oh, my word. This is much sadness. I mean, he was not even close, was he? But still, it upsets me. 4 semi-finals in a row. What have we got to do to ever be competitive in this competition? Omar's shattered. Di Girolamo can come on for him. Nguema is also shattered. We don't have a 6th attacker who can come into this team. Leppinen is going to come on in midfield, though, as is Merlin. We're just trying to keep players as fit as possible. Thomas really needs to sit some of a match out at some point. We don't really have anyone else who can play in that role very well. So we'll stick as we are at the moment. And come on, this is all set up for Benavidez to have his moment in a tour shirt. That wasn't his moment. He gave it to the wrong player. Merlin now to Thomas. And now Say, the new boy at the back. Is Say our record signing up? No, of course he's not. Omar was 5.5 million. Di Girolamo, can he get there first? He got there at the same time. And oh my word, Benavidez is still doing things for Monaco, apparently. Oh, that was an open goal. And that's 2-0 and we're done. Di Girolamo did so well. I mean, he didn't get there before the keeper. He got there at the same time. It spilled 3 to Benavidez. All he had to do was put it in the big net. And he missed. And all of a sudden, we're 2-0 down and the dream is dead again. This is 4 semi-final defeats. And I'm going to stop showing them to you at some point because they hurt too much. And now we're in that dreaded situation I talked about where after such a long unbeaten run, which, remember, started with, I think, 6 consecutive draws, it took us a while to get our form going. We've now got 2 defeats on the bounce with Monaco still to play in the league. And this kind of stuff does cause a morale hit, especially when it's such an easy victory like this one is turning into. And it does have consequences. We are going to take off Thomas now and just stick Barberi there. We might as well just give Thomas 10 minutes of rest. There's no getting back into this game, so let's rest him. I hate the cup. Why do we keep getting through to the semi-final of it? And I mean, I can answer that one for you. We're like the 3rd or 4th best team in the country. And we have been for a year and a half now. We've not shown it this year because of the Champions League. Those of you who've been watching the network game over on Twitch will be familiar with this. I did the same thing with Everton over there. Got into the Champions League first season, second season. Despite still being Champions League level, We struggled in the Champions League. We basically struggled with a small squad size. It's exactly the same as what's happened here. The game's against me. It's nothing to do with my squad management. But yeah, we ended up finishing like, I don't know, 7th and bombing out of the Champions League in the group stages. And it very much feels like history is repeating itself here. Thankfully, with that Everton team, we didn't have an exodus of players. I wonder if we'll be as lucky in this save. Millet's going to be out for 3 or 4 weeks, so Benavidez is going to get his chance. And we will be back, probably with Monaco. Oh, Nice and Monaco. They're 4th and 2nd. This is a tough run in. No wonder we had such a nice run of form. We haven't played anyone any good for ages. Can we still get into Europe? I really hope so. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.